Tonight we are going to talk about one of the biggest lies to international students that I've ever seen in my career in the last 25 years. In another edition, we shall also discuss the injustices against 476 applicants, and that will be released later on during the week. Hi, I'm Karl Konrad and welcome to Australian Immigration News. This channel is proudly brought to you by Australian Immigration Law Services right here in the heart of Sydney. This program is not only to provide you updates on the latest laws and policy changes regarding immigration regulations, but we must also question and challenge injustices and unfairness implemented by the Australian government juggernaut called the Department of Home Affairs. They do a great job most of the time, but sometimes they just seem to go off the rails. Bear with me as we return a little in time so the events are clear of how this mess all started. Back in early 2022, after the pandemic started to weaken its grip on all of us, the former Liberal government Immigration Minister Alex Hawke was telling us how important immigration would be for Australia to recover its lost financial capacity.
How do we recover from one of the most significant drops in global GDP that we've seen in our lifetimes? And immigration is part of that story. We know migrants are fantastic for our society, for our economy. We know they act as job multipliers. And as an incoming immigration minister, I'm convinced that the migration program will be a huge part of how we recover from COVID and whether we are successful as we can be on that journey.
We were told international students were crucial in that plan of a journey to recovery.
But also the international student sector, one of our largest export sectors, they value add so inherently to the Australian economy, we want to get them back. But we're very conscious of when we open those borders, you'll see international students will be an important part of the opening cohort to make sure we can resume that vital function for our economy.
So a huge call went out to all sections of the globe that Australia was again open for business for international students. We wanted all of those who left their courses unfinished to return and complete them. We also wanted a fresh batch of students to come and start new programs. When the Labor Party was swept into power, they kept the same theme running.
Our international education market is incredibly important to our economy. It's actually just important to the education system that we run in our country. This is our fourth largest export and it's one that we're very proud of.
In February 2023, the government ratcheted up the marketing campaign to attract more international students. They announced the longest graduate visa lengths in the country's history of skilled migration and the longest of similar programs around the world. In a joint press release, Education Minister Jason Clare said, "The measure will make Australia more attractive as a study destination, helping the recovery of the international education sector and boosting earnings from Australia's education exports." And Claire O'Neill, the Home Affairs Minister, added her part, enabling students to gain that education in Australia to stay longer and contribute to the economy benefits us all. Then just over 6 months ago, in July 2023, the government published a list of courses that international students could gain those longer graduate visas if they completed one of them. At last, the details of the 3,264 courses eligible for the 485 visa extension program have been released. We have provided a link to the official document in the description of this video. Those of you who complete one of these courses will apply for the 485 visa in the post-study workstream and obtain the extended 485 visa. The visa will be extended by 2 years to 4 years for selected bachelor degrees, 3 years to 5 years for selected master's degrees, and 4 years to 6 years for all doctoral degrees. They did not mention anything about reducing the age limit of the 485 visa in the near future. Those who are going to come and study for their PhD in Australia and then obtain a 6-year graduate visa would be here for nearly 10 years with work permission.
We don't want to have a system where people can sit here in the country for 10 years not having an outcome on their migration decisions.
So was it all a sham, telling the world to come to study here and get your longer graduate visa? Did the government ever intend to honour that promotion? Well, it seems not. For now, the government is telling us they will cut the graduate visa program's length, and worse still, you may not even get one at all if you're over 35. After this news was released, we were moved by the comments on our channel for all of you potentially affected by this age reduction. And like all of you, we wanted some clarity on how this would be implemented. Earlier this week, we sent a media request to the Minister to respond regarding the change of the age limit for the 485 visa. We even attached screenshots of those who wrote in to our channel expressing their heartaches. We asked one simple question: is the Minister prepared to guarantee that all international students who have started their studies will not be affected by the decrease of the age requirement for the 485 visa? However, sadly, the government is not prepared to do this. In their response, they said, "The government is committed to repositioning the temporary graduate visa so that it supports early career professionals to develop the relevant work history that they will need to progress to a skilled visa or use their education and skills in the global jobs market. The maximum eligible age for a temporary graduate visa will be reduced from 50 to 35, repositioning the visa as a product for early career professionals who can contribute to the Australian economy over a longer period." This change will apply to all new applications lodged once the legislation comes into effect. Although the exact date of the implementation has not been announced, this is expected to occur from mid-2024 onwards. All of us then must assume that a new age requirement will possibly come into effect from July this year. They have even gone further by demonstrating this commitment to reducing the age limit by saying those affected students may have other alternatives. They stated, "Graduates who have relevant work histories but are no longer eligible for the temporary graduate visa due to the age restrictions remain eligible for other visa products which will provide them with shorter pathways to permanent residency." In an effort to soften the blow of that statement, they go on to say this: "The development of the new skills in demand visa may provide graduates who have extensive work histories related to their area of studies with a quicker pathway to permanent residency than the temporary graduate visa." What compensation this is meant to offer international student graduates is of course very limited. Students are already aware that if they are lucky enough to find an employer to sponsor them, there are pathways to PR ahead. However, without a working visa available after their degrees, how are they actually meant to find these employers? We feel this comment is more of an insult than a realistic alternative for those over 35. And in the end, they said, "More specific details on implementation of temporary graduate visa arrangements will be communicated ahead of the implementation in mid-2024. Unfortunately, we will just have to hold our breath to determine when these new implementations will actually occur. This is highly distressing news, and my heart goes out to all international students studying in Australia who may be over 35 by July. I'm sure if people knew earlier about not being able to obtain graduate visas simply because of their age, they may not have decided to study any of those expensive degree courses. When we got this response back, it shocked everybody in the office here. We were expecting actually some fair and realistic concessions for international students who were told when they started their courses in Australia that they would be eligible for at least a working visa after they finished their studies. Even on the Immigration Department website today, the post-study workstream page of the 485 visa does not mention anything about the looming age reduction in the eligibility requirements. If you're overseas and over 35, or soon will be, then you would believe you would be eligible for the 485 visa when you finished your degree here. Hundreds are handing their cash to education providers right now without any idea that their rights to the 485 visa may soon disappear. So the big lie continues. If you need help on any migration matter, go to our website and book a time. If you need an earlier appointment, call Pat or Hay and see if they can squeeze you in earlier. As always, take care out there, and I will see you next time. So bye for now.